When my boss called me into his office, I thought my 17-year career was over. But when I opened that file on his desk, I realized the real shock was just beginning, because that file contained my death. Hello, I'm David Chen, 45 years old. Before I tell you this story, could you mention in the comments where you're watching from? Because after listening to this story, you'll never look at your life the same way again. If you haven't already, don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications, because this is the story that began the day I died. I had been working at Sterling & Associates for 17 years. As head analyst in the accounting department, I was one of the company's most trusted employees. I was never late, never took sick days, never complained. I was the perfect employee. That Tuesday morning, I arrived at the office at 7:30 as usual. I got my coffee from the cappuccino machine, sat at my desk and began my daily routine. But something was off. Margaret, the secretary, was looking at me strangely, as if she was seeing me for the first time. "Good morning, Margaret," I said with a smile. "Good morning, David," she said with a strange hesitation in her voice. When I sat at my desk, my computer wouldn't turn on. I called the IT department. "We're doing a system update," they said. "Please wait a moment." At 10:30, Mr. Sterling's secretary called. "David, Mr. Sterling wants to see you in his office. Immediately." My heart rate increased. In 17 years, I had only been called to Mr. Sterling's office 3 times, always during promotion times. I knocked on the door. "Come in," said that familiar voice. Mr. Sterling was sitting behind his desk with 2 other people across from him. One was the company lawyer, Ms. Rodriguez, and the other was a middle-aged man I had never seen before. "David, please sit down," said Mr. Sterling, with a more serious tone than I had ever heard. As I sat down, I saw a thick file on the desk. My name was written on it, David Chen, confidential. "David," said Mr. Sterling, "I have to tell you something very difficult. As of today, we're terminating your employment." The world spun around me. But why? Did I do something wrong? "No, David, you did nothing wrong, but," he paused, avoiding my eyes, "you can't work here anymore because you're dead." "What?" I couldn't believe my ears. Miss Rodriguez pushed the file toward me. "This is your official death certificate, David. You died in a car accident last night at 11:47 p.m. I opened the file with trembling hands. My name was indeed written there, my birth date was correct, but the person written there wasn't me, because I was still alive. "This is impossible," I murmured. "I'm here, I'm breathing, I'm talking." The man I didn't recognize spoke for the first time. "Mr. Chen, I'm Detective Morrison. I have to tell you the truth. Last night a man died in your car, with your identity, fingerprints, DNA, everything belongs to you. But I'm here," I shouted. "Yes," said Morrison calmly. "That's exactly the problem. If you're here, then who died last night?" When I left the office, I found myself in the strangest place in the world. I was alive but officially dead. I went home, my key didn't work. When the doorman George saw me, his face went pale. "David, but you," he stammered. "I what, George? They showed it on the news. Car accident. They said you died." I couldn't get into my home. My bank card didn't work. My phone was cut off. It was as if my entire existence had been erased in an instant. The only place I could go was my brother Mike's house. When I knocked on the door, he froze. "David, but your funeral is tomorrow." "Whose funeral, Mike?" "I'm here." Mike let me in, touched me to make sure I was real. "But the police said..." "What did the police say?" "There was a terrible accident on Lincoln Boulevard last night. The car was completely burned. The person inside was unrecognizable, but your ID, credit cards, everything was found next to it." "What about the body?" "DNA test came back positive. Police said the identification was 100% certain." I stayed at Mike's house that night. I couldn't sleep. I turned on the TV. Local news was starting. In the traffic accident that occurred last night, 45-year-old David Chen, who worked at Sterling & Associates, lost his life. Chen had been working at the same company for 17 years and had a perfect record. I was watching my own funeral news. This couldn't be a nightmare. The next morning I went to the cemetery to see what happened at my funeral. I watched from behind. About 50 people came. My coworkers, some old friends, Mike and my family, and a young woman I didn't recognize. She was wearing a black dress, standing at a distance. She kept checking her surroundings, as if she was waiting for someone. When the ceremony ended, the woman quickly walked away. I followed her. After walking about 3 blocks, she entered a small cafe. I went in too. "David Chen," the woman said as soon as she saw me. "Finally. Do you know me? Sit down, we have a lot to talk about." The woman introduced herself as Lisa Morgan. She was a private detective. "Who hired you?" I asked. "No one, I'm working on my own account, because I lost a lot of money when you died." "What do you mean?" Lisa pulled out a file from her bag. "David, what did you do in the last 6 months? Where did you go?" "I don't know, normal things. I worked, went home, visited Mike on weekends." "What about this?" Lisa showed me a photo. "I was there but I didn't remember it. I was in a luxury restaurant, wearing an expensive suit, having dinner with a woman I didn't know." "This isn't me," I said. "The fingerprints are yours." "Impossible." Lisa pulled out the second photo. Again me, but this time at a bank, depositing a large check. Where is this check, David? What check? The $2.3 million check. I was confused. Lisa, I swear to you the person in these photos isn't me. I never had that much money. Lisa looked at me for a long time. Or you're not this David Chen. We went to Lisa's office. There were dozens of photos, documents, and notes on the walls, all about me. David, for the last 6 months, another David Chen was living in this city. Same name, same physical characteristics, same ID number, but living a different life. How is that possible? A very well-organized identity theft. But this isn't a classic theft. This is much more complex. Lisa showed me a video. In footage from security cameras, I or someone who looked like me was getting out of a luxury car. This is the car that burned last night, Lisa said, but look here. She slowed down the video. The man's walking style, body language, even the way he runs his fingers through his hair is different. She was right. Same face, same body, but like a different person. So who is this man? I don't know, but he was very well prepared. He was perfectly imitating your life. Why? For $2.3 million. Lisa opened her computer. This is what I'm trying to find, the source of this money. And now that this man is dead, the money is left hanging. But I didn't take this money. I know that too. But according to the bank, you did. And now that man is dead, the new owner of the money is the person behind the identity theft. At that moment there was a knock on the door. Lisa froze. No one sees me here, she whispered. When she opened the door, Detective Morrison was there. Miss Morgan, we need to talk about the David Chen case. Of course, come in. Morrison came in and was surprised to see me. What are you doing here? Trying to learn the truth, I said. Morrison sat down. The truth? Okay, then let me tell you the truth. The man who died wasn't the real David Chen. He had plastic surgery, fingerprints were altered, DNA was manipulated, professional work. But why? Because if the real David Chen, that is you, is believed to be dead, no one will investigate that $2.3 million, Morrison continued. David, there's a very big fraud at your company. In the last 3 years, $50 million have gone missing, and all the traces lead to you. But I didn't do anything. I know, because you were chosen as the victim. The perfect employee, never raises suspicion, trusted by everyone. They were going to frame you and then have you accidentally die. That way the case would be closed, Lisa interjected. But their plan backfired, because twin David died, you lived, so who's really stealing the money? Instead of answering, Morrison looked at his phone. We need to move, because they're coming to really kill you. At that moment, 2 armed men entered the office. Their faces were covered with masks. Nobody move, one of them shouted. Morrison drew his gun, but it was too late. A gunshot, Morrison fell to the ground. David Chen, we have business with you, said the other. But Lisa had already gone out the back door. She dragged me after her. Run, she shouted. We drove to the other side of the city in Lisa's car. We hid in an abandoned warehouse. Is Morrison dead? I asked. I don't know, but now we're on our own. Lisa, tell me the truth. Who are you really? Lisa took a deep breath. I'm an FBI agent. I've been following this case for 2 years. Why didn't you tell me from the beginning? Because I suspected you, but now I understand that you're just a pawn. Lisa opened her phone. I need backup. Agent Morrison was shot. David Chen is alive. When she hung up, help is coming. But first we need to learn the truth. How? You're going back to your company. Are you crazy? They're trying to kill me, because you're a dangerous secret, but at the same time, you're our only chance to catch them. The next morning, I talked to a few people I recognized from those who watched my funeral. They all believed I was dead. I went for coffee with Margaret, the secretary. Margaret, what happened before I died? Was there anything strange? David, you died. How can you be here? Just answer, Margaret. It's important. In recent weeks, Mr. Sterling was very tense. He was constantly talking to people in his office, and he was reviewing your files. Which files? Accounting reports, especially those related to offshore accounts. At that moment I understood. $50 million had been transferred to offshore accounts, and my signature had been used. Margaret, who opened those accounts? I don't know, but Mr. Sterling's personal assistant Kevin always handled these matters. Kevin Morrison, Detective Morrison's son. I told Lisa everything. She was also surprised. Morrison deceived us, she said. He was trying to protect his own son, but Morrison was shot. Fake. They were his own men, to deceive us. That night we broke into the company's security system. We found hidden documents in Kevin's office. Everything was there. Kevin Morrison and Mr. Sterling were partners. They had been stealing company money for 3 years. They had created twin David to frame me. The plan was, after convincing everyone I was dead, they would put all the blame on the dead man. But because twin David really died, the plan was ruined. What do we do now? I asked. We're going to trap them, Lisa said. Our plan was this. I would call Kevin, show myself. He would come to kill me. Lisa would record. FBI would catch him. It was risky, but we had no other choice. I called Kevin. Kevin, it's David. David, but you died. No, I didn't die, and I know everything. What do you know? The $50 million. Twin David, all of it. Kevin remained silent. Where are you? In my old office. Alone. I want to talk. I'm coming. An hour later, Kevin came. He brought 2 armed men with him, but the FBI was also ready. David, you're a very smart man, Kevin said. Why did you do it, Kevin? For money. My father couldn't get by on his pension. Sterling's company was going bankrupt too. We found the solution. By framing innocent people. You're not innocent, David. You're just blind. Kevin drew his gun. This time you're really going to die. At that moment the FBI raided. Kevin and his men were caught. Mr. Sterling was also caught. The $50 million was found. Detective Morrison was arrested for misleading the FBI to protect his son. A new identity was arranged for me, because I was still officially dead. Now I live as Jason Miller. New city, new job, new life. Lisa. We met with her real name, Sarah. Now we're married. Sometimes I think about the past. If twin David hadn't died, I would have really come out as guilty. But by chance I survived. Sometimes dying is necessary to live. If this story taught you something important, share it in the comments, because sometimes the people you trust most can be your greatest enemies.